Well, I remember that, Mark told me when I got into this role, when I have a global team, and it was I would say, it was a real stretch goal for myself, right? I said, what are you expecting from me, Mark? And he says, make them shine. And I'm like, what goal is that? I mean, I was expecting, you need to drive this amount of revenue or cost reductions or productivity or employee engagement. He says, that's what you need to do. You need to look at your team and understand where they are and understand where we want to go. And your role is to make them shine. And it took me a few months to understand what does it mean to make them shine, right? And then Mark, he was giving you piece by piece the advice, right? He was very good at let you struggle with things, and when you are struggling, then he was coming to rescue you from that moment. And then I started to understand that was where understanding where each individual wanted to go in their professional and personal journey was important. Is that your role is to find that place for people to do their best, right? That's the make them shine thing, right? Is finding that space for people to do their best, right? With the things they have, to learn the most possible amount of things based on their aspirations for their careers and their personal journeys. And that takes a lot of interest and intentional energy to really learn from each of your team members, because each of them wants something very different, right? So your role is find that common place in where everyone is able to be at their best, right? And that was a conversation with Mark that changed. I tell you, it changed my career, right? And at the beginning, I didn't see that being important, but when I start to see the effect that you have in people, right? And people grow in their careers and being promoted, and in some cases leaving the organization, but leaving the organization for a better opportunity outside, and that was okay, right? That was okay as long as you have done your best, right, on your side. The person, the person was maybe leaving, but leaving to a better future that they wanted to build for themselves. So it was that was more or less the journey. So I know it's a long explanation, but was an experience for me.
Very impactful. I hope everybody is listening to that, and anyone who's leading a team can really think about that for themselves. How can you make your team shine? I mean, that's why this book was written that I wrote, because I wanted people to be able to do that for themselves, but also for leaders to be able to help their team members do the same. What do you think is the biggest challenge in terms of being a leader of a team who may have more of an ego, I'll say, and feels like there might be some, threat to them if they make their team shine more than themselves?
But if you have that mindset, I would say that's not a growth mindset, right? But it doesn't have to tell you a person you do not have a growth mindset, right? So it might not mean much for that person. But I think I will ask people that are thinking like that is the legacy that you can leave in a team is not only about what you know or who you are, is how much you can actually impact others in being bigger than they are, right? How much can you learn yourself from them? And if you have that ego in where you think you know everything, my invitation is to think that you know nothing. And the few things you know are just part of a bigger thing that your team will be able to contribute to. And between the two things together, there might be something that you don't know today. So approach leadership with, yes, I know some things. Obviously, I'm proud of the things I know and the things I have achieved in my life. But there are so many things I don't know. And all my team is going to help me to learn about those things. And I'm going to help and contribute with the things I know. So the collective wisdom is much, much more important than my personal wisdom.
So I'm going to go in a slightly different direction now. You have lived in so many different places and worked in so many different cultures. What have been your biggest takeaways from those experiences that have taught you the most?
Mm-hmm. I think that the first one is that every time you go to a new place, it's about slowing down, right? I mean, it doesn't sound good that, you are a leader and the first thing you do is to slow down, right? I mean, I'm here my first day. What's your plan? To slow down, right? Well, let me explain, right? You slow down to listen and learn, right? Because you're going to come with your experiences, specifically when I went to Asia, for example, right? And I had the opportunity to be in charge of geographies like Japan, Australia, Singapore, China, India, Malaysia, Indonesia. I tell you, each of those countries are extremely different. I was in a consumer goods company like Mondelez, and our consumers were very different. I mean, the way they were actually buying and deciding to buy our products were really, really different. Even the flavors of our Oreo cookies were different across the countries. So you really need to understand how people do things in each culture, and that puts you in the situation of being very open to learn, to slow down, right? To suppress your biases, right? This worked in the US, so now I'm here, I'm going to do the same. Well, you might do some things that you have done in your previous experience, but you will need to adapt many others, right? And in order to know what to adapt, you need to slow down and learn and listen first. I think that's one. Second thing is there is something common, right? No matter where you go, people want to do their best. I mean, and it doesn't matter if you are from a country, from another country, if you are working in, within a socioeconomic environment or another socioeconomic environment. People wake up every day with the willingness to contribute. If you are able to understand that, what actually motivates people, and that's what is different in each culture, if you focus on that, then you can drive a lot of change for organizations, no matter where you are. Now, again, you need to learn how to observe those things and get coaching, right? I mean, that might be my third learning is, if you go to a place that is not your place, when you slow down, when you're trying to understand what motivates people, get someone to help you, right? I mean, be humble, saying, hey, listen, I haven't been here, I haven't lived in this country, I don't know what you guys do here, how you do it, what's the culture. Get someone to be your kind of, partner in understanding how things are being done around here, right? And be open to learn, because most likely the way they do things is going to be pretty different, right? So.